Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deathtones channel. I'm Billy Bones, singer-songwriter for the Deathtones. This is a new video series we're calling Deathtones Unmasked, where I sit down one-on-one with a band member for an interview and ask them 20 questions about themselves, their process, and just some interesting hypothetical questions. Tonight, I'm here with Mikey Murder, the bass player for the Deathtones. How are you doing tonight, Mikey?
I'm doing awesome, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Glad to see you. Glad to see you.
Good to
Awesome.
hear.
Well, let's get right into question one if you're ready for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. All right, question one. We're going to start this off easy. At what age did you start playing music, and what was the first song that you learned how to play all the way through?
Age, I'm gonna say probably 8 or 9. I was in third grade. I was recorder. So I got my start. And first song was Hot Cross Buns or Three Blind Mice. So really it was a
Ooh,
2 for 1.
that is a two for one. Oh man.
So
See, I wouldn't have pegged you as recorder first, but we were all recorder first because we all did that. I mean, like New York, New Jersey schools, that was like in the 90s, that was what we did.
we
You
all
did
drove our
recorder and that was it.
that was it. We all drove our parents nuts with it.
When did you start? When did you pick up the bass?
Bass I picked up when I was like probably 13, 12 or 13. I'm a lefty. My dad got me my first bass. It was righty, and I think he forgot I was left-handed, and I made it work. And I was really terrible for a really long time, and I was glad I stuck with it. But yeah, it was around, and that first song I learned to play on bass was probably "Brain Stew" by Green Day.
Awesome. So you, I already know this, but I'm just saying this for the people out there. So you are a natural lefty who learned how to play right-handed, kind of like Jimi Hendrix, like where we just take
Yeah,
the guitar, flip it over, kind of thing. Except that you didn't have to flip it because you were
yeah.
playing it the other way,
I
like
just
Goofy.
I played it. Yeah, that was really it. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was cool. I learned a lot. I was self-taught, I never had lessons or anything like that. And stuck with it, blisters on the fingers, the whole thing.
Yeah, right on,
But
man. All right,
yeah.
cool. Well, let's get moving on to question number two. We've all had one or two musicians that really inspired us to get to where we are today. Who is that for you and why? It can be more than one person. They don't need to be famous either. It could be the old dog down the street who taught you how to play guitar, or a school teacher that may have seen some like latent talent in you and had helped nurture that.
For me it would be Green Day, like as a whole. Mike Dirnt specifically for the bass. But I don't know, growing up I really liked Green Day a lot. The songwriting was cool. They just appealed to me. And the rhythm section between Mike Dirnt on bass and Trey Cool on drums, it just really did it for me. So I mean, that's definitely a big part of it growing up. And of course, like as a bass player, I like, Flea and like, the staples, that of like, those kind of guys. But yeah, Mike Dirnt is definitely up there when it
Yeah,
comes to that.
he and Trey are like incredibly, incredibly tight when they play together. You can tell that they're just like synced up all the time. So that's really cool. I'm a big Green
Yeah.
Day fan, as you know as well. We've seen them once, twice. We've seen them twice together, I believe. Once in
Yeah.
Philadelphia, once in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
We've
And
gone and
they
seen them.
really bring it, man. They really
Yeah.
put on a good show. Like if you guys out there never got the chance to see them, like definitely do it if you can, because it's worth it.
All right, let's go on to question three. How many bands have you been in, including the Deathtones? You don't have to name them all. Name the important ones that have made a difference, but give me a number.
Uh I'm gonna have to say probably like 12 or 13, including Deathtones over the time. I mean, I was in a band called Dark White in like high school, originals and stuff like that. And then from there, a couple bar bands, stuff like that, a lot of covers. And yeah, I mean, just a lot of like a couple tribute acts, like a Bon Jovi tribute, working on a Motley Crue and Poison tribute, stuff like that. Me and you were in a bunch of stuff before, Deathtones.
Yeah, several acts that never sort of took off, and one that kind of took off that evolved into what is now the Deftones. So yeah,
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 we got
we've been ride or die for a while now, you and me, with the bands and stuff, dude. Like what, 2011, I think we started like in earnest, like working on stuff together?
Yeah, like because we always we've been playing music for a while, like on our own, and then it just got to a point where like our paths really never crossed because we were always working on different stuff, and then that time it just worked, and then since then, like you said, ride or die.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster, man, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, question four. Now that we're firmly on the subject of the Deathtones, what was your favorite album of ours to write and why? And what was your favorite song from that album?
Ooh, let's see. I would say American Monster. I really like that album. And I like it because not saying the other albums aren't like this, but to me, this one specifically, it's just start to finish. It's just one of those, it's just to me they're bangers throughout the whole way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I I don't know. It just has that. It just does it for me, the whole thing. And as far as my favorite song on that, it would definitely be BTK.
Right on, right on. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good one. That was really early work of ours too. Like I think that was our first EP. That was God, that was I think like March of 2022 or something. We'd only put out maybe like three songs prior to that as singles. So like yeah, we really hit the ground running hard with that one.
I think that's probably another reason why it's my favorite because that to me is was like that was like when we really got the ball rolling. Like you said, we had a couple singles, and we were starting to get like momentum. But when we put that out, I feel like that was the thing that really was like, okay, we're hitting it now.
Yeah. Um question number five. I almost jumped ahead like three. Question number five. What is your all-time favorite Deathtones song?
Surprisingly enough, because it's not like off of like American Invasion or like on the greatest hits or anything like that, I would say Deadlights.
Nice.
Off of
Right on.
yeah, I love it. It's a very creepy 50s kind of feel to it, and it being one of my favorite like horror stories of like all time. It just telling the whole story of it. I just the backups, the whole. I love that song. That's got to be my all time favorite, and it's not traditional Deathtones either. So
No,
it's very different from our other stuff. So yeah, it definitely got to be that one.
that was the title, not the title track, but the first track on our EP, "Hail to the King," which I believe was our third EP after Boomsticks and Bloodshed.
Yeah,
I remember when I was writing that, and I told you this as well. Both of us being big Green Day fans for a long time. I was listening to that one part of Jesus' Suburbia, and I was like, "Ooh, I really like that very 50s-y kind of, but it's boppy, you know." And I really sort of centered a lot of that because when you're doing things in a 50s progression or 50s style progressions, it's very easy to do, C A minor F G, you know, like
right.
it's gonna be,
Like
but
those.
that was
Yeah.
cool. It was different, you're bouncing into something different. Question number seven. Explain in detail where your Deftones character came from, like who you are on stage. Mikey Murder.
Well, we were coming up with names and stuff, and it was actually I'm pretty sure Billy Bones here, I think you came up with Mikey Murder. And I was like, that's really cool. It's got the alliteration, and it sounds cool. So it was like,
Well,
yeah,
as you can tell, I'm a sucker for alliteration in a lot of things. Boomsticks and Bloodshed. Billy Bones.
Billy,
Mikey
yeah,
Murder. Like, yeah,
yeah,
it hits, and it if you can be like on point with those, like just consonants that repeat after each other, that alliteration really helps to keep it stuck in your head. And that's just me though. But
yeah. It really does do that. And as far as like my costume and all that stuff, it was we do the jumpsuit with the vest and like we were doing skull masks, but um I I wanted something a little different, but still like in the same vein of the skull mask. So what I wound up doing was getting a half mask for the skull. So that way when we're playing live, I could sing a lot easier out of it. So like the bottom half is open. And I wanted to do something with the top so that way it wasn't just like a half thing with just the hair. I
yeah.
wanted like something to put on top. So instead of like a hat where it might be a little, you know, like wobbly or something, we I saw the dreads and I was like, this is awesome. So it's almost like a voodoo kind of like I don't even know.
Rastafarian zombie
Yeah,
skull hybrid, just all around horror, whatever you could. It was like a smorgasbord of horror. It's like, oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah.
like Rob Zombie skeleton or
Yeah.
something, you know.
Well, I'm
But
definitely happy that you changed up the mask because I do believe that you and Pat both had the same mask. Is that correct?
yeah,
Like you bought the
that's
mask and then Pat went on and said, "Ooh, I like this," and then he accidentally ordered like the exact same mask. So like we had to have you, I believe, wearing like instruments in the pictures because like you
just
have the same
yeah,
mask. So we had to be able to delineate you because you're both wearing leather vests, you're both wearing jumpsuits, you're both wearing the exact same mask.
yeah. And I think at that time we were actually coming up with the story for us being like brothers in the circus or something.
Okay,
Like
yeah, like the kayfabe kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah, like we had some kind of thing, and then it was like I gotta I have to come up with something that's gonna separate and be a little different. So it was almost like we reinvented the look and everything. But I really like the look now. It's definitely more comfortable to wear, and it just I don't know, it definitely looks a lot cooler
Oh,
in my opinion.
as soon as I tried on that mask that you got, I was like, "Oh wow, this is so much better." Because I had this mask. Everybody, it was like this. Oh, it was such a cheap mask. It was like the thinnest plastic, and it would really dig into like your eyes when you were trying to do something. And it got even worse when you started sweating. And then he got his new mask, and I tried it on once. I said, "Oh my god!" Like I've been torturing myself for the last 6 months. I ended up buying the exact same mask that Mikey has. I don't wear it for this season because I'm just doing the sunglasses and the preacher look. But yeah, I have it, and I love it. Now, I had brought up kayfabe in conversation prior, which actually segues perfectly into our next question number 8. The Deathtones have always, as a group, been into professional wrestling in one way or the other. Who is your favorite pro wrestler of all time?
Oh, the favorite questions are always the hardest because like you feel like you're gonna
Got to
leave.
narrow it down, you know?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say Mankind.
Right on. Right on.
I
I
just
love Mankind.
he was just one of the toughest guys I think ever to set foot in the ring. The guy could take a beating. He knew how to put on a good show. His gimmick was awesome, and really, I liked when he did all his other gimmicks too.
Like
You
Dude
know,
Love or Cactus Jack.
yeah, like they were great. But Mankind, dude, especially that iconic, you know, part where Undertaker threw him off the cage, man, and through the table.
Yeah.
You know, you see
That,
something like that, it's just like, wow. You're
you don't
like,
see that. You do not see that.
no, and like the razor wire, the tacks, like just getting burned. Like the guy, the guy was just like, you know,
Besides like almost like the masochistic level of abuse this guy wanted to take, I feel like he as a character would fit very well with the Deathtones. He's from the boiler room. He wears that cool janky ass mask. You know, like it's like I feel like he would fit in very well with us costume wise.
yeah. I mean, he was just really great, and I mean, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great wrestlers out there with awesome gimmicks and everything like that, but of course you have Undertaker, awesome, like and
Mm-hmm.
all the classic guys, but he definitely like Mankind definitely is my favorite, I think.
Okay, if you were this is question number 9. If you were to join a professional wrestling organization tomorrow as a performer, what would your ring name be? Would you be a face or a heel? And what would your style be? Like a bruiser, a technician, a submission specialist, a high flyer. So let's start off with what would your ring name be?
This is a great question. I would honestly, I would probably just transfer my Deathtones character into the ring.
I feel like
So
we all will probably do that.
right, I would keep Mikey Murder. I would keep the gimmick pretty close, like with like the mask and the dreads and everything. And I would kind of want like a really creepy like a Bray Wyatt kind of thing.
Like the fiend almost. Really, I feel like
Yeah,
that's very your outfit is very fiendish,
yeah.
like in that.
Like have like a really creepy like music, lights go out kind of a thing would be like that. And I would want as far as like the type of wrestler, um, I want to be like I would want to be like a wild card. I'd want to be like unpredictable, slippery, um, spontaneous, dangerous. Like you have no idea what I'm gonna do. Like I might be flying off the ropes, but then I might like get right in there and ground and pound. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
kind of a thing. Me not being a very, big guy compared to to those guys, I feel like I would have to have something to really you know, set it apart.
Yeah, you're
you know,
definitely more of like a Rey Mysterio sized kind of person with than a Andre the Giant kind of.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely. And I'm right there with you. We're definitely on the shorter side of things. So yeah, you do. You can't utilize that hulking strength that someone like Mr. Grimm would have, as
right.
opposed to us being smaller.
Yeah, so we would have to do something to kind of like offset their size and strength.
Well, I'm going to give you one more question, big question number 10, and then we're going to take a short break and we will be right back with you. So, okay, number 10, out of the big four horror movie slashers, so you have Jason, Freddy, Leatherface, and Michael Myers, who would win in an all out fight between those four, one room? Go for it. And immortality doesn't play a role in this. Like, like the whole like cutting off Freddy's head and he's laughing or whatever. He's still Jason still won the fight in that. You know what I mean? So like, who would win the fight physically between those four?
If we're talking now, you're saying they're all in a room, four of them locked in together. Who's making it out?
Yes,
Oh,
and they're all using their powers. So like, it's not like Freddy is stuck in the real world while these other guys are in the real world. Like he has all of the powers that he would have in the dream world, but he has them just as like everybody else has them.
see, I would personally, I would say Freddy, only because like he's he's very smart, he's manipulative, and I feel like he would definitely use that to his advantage over the others. Sizing strength. Kind of like as far as that goes.
He's witty.
And
He's
I mean,
quick.
he's quick and he's very crafty. I mean, they're all crafty in their own way and creative in like their kills and everything, but I feel like Freddy knows how to play to your weakness, and I feel like he would definitely exploit that and use that to, take you out.
And it
And he messes.
almost. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and also what I like that he does is that he messes with your head to a point where like he could have killed you like 1,000 times, but he strings you along, and he wants to like mentally torture you and drain you and make you just like nuts, as opposed to just like, oh yeah, I could just end you right now. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm gonna take you for a ride. I'm gonna I'm gonna really mess with your head a little bit.
Well, that it almost goes back to the wrestling thing. You have Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Leatherface. They're all giants. Freddy isn't a giant, and so
Yeah.
he has something that's going to put him apart from those giants that will hopefully play in his favor. So that's really cool. I like that. Well, I mean, obviously you have your Freddy Krueger sweater on right now, so I can
Oh
tell
yeah.
you, and you got your dream catchers on the wall. I see that you're staying protected. So
Yeah. Can't be too careful.
all right, guys, we're going to be back shortly with our next 10 questions. Everyone, and welcome back to the Deathtones channel. I'm here with Mikey Murder for our first episode of Deathtones Unmasked, where I sit down and chat with our band members and learn a little bit more about them. Let's get right back into it with question 11 out of 20. This does not have to be the big four horror slashers, but who is your favorite all-time horror movie antagonist?
Pennywise, for sure. Pennywise is, I don't know, he's just great. Being a shapeshifter, he can like, you know, like I like, okay, so like how like I was saying before, like how Freddy like gets in your head.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot like that with like Pennywise. He's like an entity that's been around like since the beginning of time, and the fact that he comes around every 27 years, that whole thing, like he's always like found a way to stay like relevant,
Mm-hmm.
and he just plays off your fears, and I'm really into that. Like, and really any kind of villain that does that, like Scarecrow from Batman.
Hmm.
awesome. You know what I mean? Like how like they play off your fears. I love that. But definitely Pennywise from It is my favorite horror
Now,
villain.
obviously, I had said movie, but obviously the Curry version is like the mini series. So, are you more of a Skarsgård guy or are you more of a Tim Curry guy when it comes to it? Or love
Definitely
on
Tim.
both things, you know?
Yeah, I mean, definitely more of a Tim Curry fan. Skarsgård did great. I thought like the direction that they did the reboot was cool, you know. I'm just you know, growing up watching the Tim Curry one, it just that has that nostalgic kind of thing for me. So, and plus I just, you know, I liked it because Curry had this thing where like he just had to make like one face and he would go from like a normal looking clown to terrifying. And it would
Hmm.
just be like a certain smirk or a certain like sneer or something. And you're like, whoa, this guy is,
Hmm.
he's scary. Where Skarsgård was already like, hey, I'm already really
I was about
scary.
to say, yeah, he's like he starts off like
Like,
at 100. He doesn't really go down much. Like
yeah,
Curry
where
is
like,
more, a gentle build into the
yeah,
evil.
which to me, I feel like, you know, he's supposed to be at least a little welcoming, you know, to try to lure the kids in. So it's
Yeah.
like, you see,
Oh,
if
yeah.
I all I know is if I saw Skarsgård as a kid, I would have took off.
Hiya, Georgie. Help,
I would have been,
mommy.
I would have been like, see you later.
You're heading for the hills. Okay. So Tim Curry, Pennywise, it. That's what we're going with there. Okay,
Yeah.
right on. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Question number 12. In the Deathtones, we seem to like comedy just as much as we love horror. And we're constantly creating inside jokes or doing funny celebrity impressions all the time. If you could comically recast one horror character, it doesn't need to be the bad guy, it doesn't need to be the good guy, whatever. Who would or pardon me, what would the role be and who would you cast for that role?
Um, I know there's already a lot of horror spoofs out there of stuff that's already been done. Like you got like Scary Movie with Ghostface and you know how they did all that. And they've done a bunch, you know, like the Exorcist and all that. But I would like to see probably Candyman.
Okay.
I feel like that could be good. I feel like you could do a lot with that. And I think I think Dave Chappelle should play Candyman.
I love this. I love this.
I think it would be hilarious. He's already like one of the funniest people on the planet. So like you throw him in a role like that, I think he would just like kill it. I think it would be so funny.
I don't
Like
know why, but going into this, I really thought your answer was going to be like Danny DeVito as Sam Loomis. I could just imagine
oh my god.
get real weird with it. Like he's gargling beer as Dr. Sam Loomis.
I he just he just turns into just Frank Reynolds. It's just Frank
Exactly,
Reynolds. Yeah.
exactly.
He's like, so I went in and started blasting.
And you just show him like now you're getting me going. I want to do like a face over with like when Donald Pleasance is shooting Michael Myers at the end of the first one. And you just have Danny DeVito. So when I came, I started blast.
That'd be great. He just starts like shooting off some shots. He accidentally like hit somebody out the window or something, you know, like he's
Ah!
just like just just
Okay, so
wild.
so Dave Chappelle as the Candy Man. Let's as they say in wrestling, let's book it. Let's get this thing going.
Let's get it going. Come
Somebody
on,
get him
Dave.
on the line. Come on, Dave.
Come on.
Enough Netflix specials. Let's go. All right. Question number 13. As you all know, in 2022, our first EP, American Monster, released. That album was about some of the United States' most dreadful serial killers. On that same topic, who is your, I guess, favorite serial killer? Well, favorite isn't probably the right word to use there. The one who is the most interesting to you, it does not need to be an American.
Um, like we were saying before, there's so many to pick. I would probably off the top of my head go with John Wayne Gacy.
Okay.
I would go with him because I like the fact that like he was kind of hiding in plain sight, like the entire time.
Yeah.
You know, he was like a pillar in the community. Like
He was good
people
at it.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like people respected him. They saw him as like this really like you know stand up guy, and the whole time he was just a monster, and he was doing awful, awful things, and like he had the bodies in his house, like, and even the neighbors started smelling what was going on, and he was just like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, it's just like making up stuff, like whatever, he like septic or whatever,
Hmm.
and it's just the whole clown thing, like it's just that's just crazy to me, like, so I would have to say him because like it was one of those things like, oh, you'd never expect it.
Hmm. And for anybody who's interested out there, since Mikey actually did just say John Wayne Gacy, we have a song on American Monster, 33 Dead, about John Wayne Gacy and his crimes. So if serial killers are your bag, go and check out that album. It's pretty sick.
Yeah,
Um,
really good.
okay, here's a really good one. Question number 14. If you could go out to dinner with one person, alive or dead, who would it be? Where would you go? And what would you order?
That is a great question. um I'd have to go with Elvis Presley, man, the king. He
Okay.
is one of the coolest people I think to ever exist. I feel like the guy would have stories forever. He was like the first, to me, he was like the first real rock star. And just as a celebrity, I mean, the guy did everything. He did movies, and like the guy could sing any kind of music, and he was just one of the coolest people. And as far as eating, that dude knew how to eat. So he could pick the place, and I feel
Peanut
like
butter
it would
banana
be awesome.
sandwich.
Yeah, like dude, like oh, like
And I feel like
just
he'd pay. So that's even better.
yeah, I feel like he would too. He seemed like such a cool guy.
He's
He
an
had like a little
upstanding guy.
entourage. Yeah, dude. He had like a little entourage, and like he was just, and he just he seemed like a really cool dude. Like but I would have him pick. I'd picture it to be like probably like a barbecue joint or something. You
Okay, let's
know,
go. Let's go with barbecue. What would you order if it was a barbecue joint with Elvis Presley sitting across from you at the table?
I mean, I
Got to
would
be
probably
Memphis. Got to be Memphis barbecue. So
yeah. Um, I would probably go for something like I know some places have like a giant sampler kind of thing where
mhm,
you get like the rack of ribs and like the pulled pork and like the chicken, and I would go for something like that, like almost like a little spread just to kind of hit
hit
everything.
everything. Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
a
I like
couple
that.
sides. Yeah, and
One day I got to bring you down to Memphis, man. We got to go to Central Barbecue. Anybody listening from Memphis knows Central Barbecue, and yeah, I went there last time I went, and it was just amazing. We were actually talking for a while about booking time at the Sun Studios room to the studio to cut an EP with them. We're still working on that, but yeah, so fun things. But okay, Elvis Presley barbecue, and you're gonna get the sampler platter. I like it. I like it. It's
yeah,
safe, but it's also kind of adventurous because it's like you don't know necessarily what he's gonna want. So like, and I feel like Elvis is definitely going to be the kind to be like, "Hey man, let me try one of those, man," and like, and you want to make sure that you have like enough brisket for the king.
yeah,
You don't want to run out.
definitely, dude. And the guy knew how to party. He knew how to eat. I feel like he would just, and I feel like the stories would just be awesome. Like the guy could just talk forever about like, and it would all be cool stuff. You know,
Yeah, TCB,
but
taking care of barbecue.
yes,
TCBBQ,
that's great. That'd be great.
an Elvis themed barbecue joint. TCBBQ. All right, let's make it happen.
Let's,
Uh,
yeah.
question number 15. Keeping on the topic of dinner, a simple question. What is your all time favorite food?
So when I was like a little kid, anytime I went anywhere, it was always chicken parm, always. So, but over time, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love chicken parm. It's probably one of my top things ever. But I think pizza might have trumped it.
And
I
what kind of pizza are we talking?
I'm
Like
talking New York style, thin crust. You crack it, you get that crack, you get
the
the grease
grease.
dripping down the elbow. You know exactly what I'm
Yeah,
talking
I do.
about,
I'm a Jersey boy. I know what you're talking about.
dude.
What about
I
toppings? Toppings. Give me toppings.
see now toppings. Um, I can go plain cheese. But if it's you could always like if you're not feeling toppings or whatever, you could just put them off to the side and eat them later or whatever if you want your plain. But I feel like to get toppings is cool. But I mean, I'm good with the plain cheese. I'm not picky, but I do like pepperoni. Pepperoni's great. Mushrooms great. Too much toppings though. I notice sometimes it just gets like
Get the
get
odds.
the
Get the odds.
get the odds.
I'm getting
You
old.
know, all the meats. You're just like, oh,
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, probably
All right.
probably pizza, man.
So pizza, right on. Okay, 15. Question number 15. The last one I'm going to talk to you about food. Before my fat ass gets hungry. So one last thing. Hypothetical, obviously. You've been found guilty of an awful crime, and your execution date is tomorrow. What would your last meal be? It can be any amount shy of the infamous Lawrence Brewer meal. For anyone wondering, Lawrence Brewer ordered a meal so ridiculously large, and then when they gave it to him, he said, "Oh, I'm not hungry," and he didn't eat it. And then Texas got angry, and Texas subsequently got rid of last meals for death row inmates.
I didn't
So
know that.
way to ruin it for everyone, Larry. So okay, what is what you're getting executed tomorrow? What is your last meal?
Um, Way to ruin it for everyone, Larry. He really did.
You really did.
He was like, you know what? I'm going down anyway, so now no one's gonna be
Taking you
happy.
all with me.
My last meal. My mom makes this chicken parm lasagna, and she puts chicken cutlets in between lasagna, and it's nuts, dude. And I would probably have that,
That sounds
you know,
incredible. That sounds
dude.
absolutely incredible.
It's so good. It's layered with like it's like you got your lasagna, but in between, dude, there's just nice chicken cutlets, and you cut it, and every bite is just lasagna and chicken. I mean, come on, it's too much.
Now you're gonna go with that. That's your entree, obviously. Are you gonna do an appetizer and a dessert, or are you just gonna roll with that?
I didn't even think about that
You get
other
like soup,
stuff.
salad, and breadsticks, bro. Like this is like the Olive Garden, man.
All
So,
right, that's all right. Uh, can you do a chicken quesadilla as an appetizer? It's my last meal, of course I
dude, you can
can.
do
Yeah,
whatever you want, man. You can do whatever
yeah.
you want.
Who's gonna tell me I can't? Besides Texas. Uh,
Besides Texas, you're getting what we're serving. Here's some beans.
it's like just a can. They don't even give you an opener.
You gotta know.
You gotta like shotgun them out.
Shotgun and beans.
Dude, that is the worst. You're on death row and they just give you a can of beans. It's not even like Bush's or anything. It's just like some like off brand. It just says beans.
It's like yeah, it's like the store brand,
Like a white, it's like a white thing with like
like
black writing beans.
bowl and basket brand beans.
It's just I don't have a fork.
Wow, talk about alliteration on that one. Bowl and basket beans. Ooh, don't
Bowl
get me
and
going.
basket
That could be an
baked
album.
bowl and basket baked
Baked beans.
barbecue beans.
Ooh, you're throwing the barbecue. Ooh, bowl and basket baked barbecue. Bowl and basket baked barbecue. Yeah, you definitely can't say it 5 times fast.
It's a lot.
Okay, so
Talk
we
about
have
alliteration.
a chicken quesadilla for an appetizer. We have your mom's chicken parm lasagna for an entree. What are we rocking for dessert?
I know it's basic, but one of my favorite desserts of all time is definitely apple pie a la mode.
Ooh. Hot apple pie or cold apple pie?
Hot.
Okay, see, I'm a cold guy. I do not like
Really?
hot, I don't like hot apple pie. If I'm gonna have apple pie, like there was like, oh, let it cool on the windowsill. I'm like, no. It needs to be in the refrigerator for probably at least a good 6 hours before I'm ready to touch it.
See, I like the only time I really like hot apple pie is when it's with the cold ice cream.
Yeah, that
Like
nice
if I
contrast.
Yeah, because like the heat kind of melts the ice cream a little bit, and then you get like that like just flavor of like the hot pie and the cold ice cream, and that just oh man, that's definitely yeah. But other than that, like I can get down with the cold pie too, but definitely the hot pie with the ice cream.
Okay, and what are you drinking? Last item. So we have the chicken
Oh,
quesadilla, we have the meat or the chicken parm lasagna, we have apple pie a la mode. What are you chasing this down with?
oh man. Um, I would have to say probably. You know what? Probably a Coca Cola, man.
Like
I would
Coke
have to
Classic, huh?
Coke Classic. I
Right
think
on.
I just I'm not watching calories anymore. So Really,
You got nothing to worry about.
I'm not gonna go for the diet. I'll spring for the OG classic.
I think that if it was my last meal, I mean, I'm not answering my own question here because I'm sure that my answer is going to be different when it finally gets to my turn to answer these questions. But like, I feel like I would try to eat myself to death before I go to the chair. Like, I want to be dead in my cell, overstuffed with my pants unbuttoned. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be like, I want to eat myself to death because I would not want to go to like the chair or the chamber or the lethal injection or the fire, however the hell they do it now, you know,
Yeah.
depending, I guess, on where you are. But yeah, I think that might be me. I don't know though. All right, we're gonna move right along. Number 16, completely pivoting on the topic here. Are you
All right.
currently in a relationship? Is there a Mrs. Murder?
There is. I've been with my girlfriend for like 10, 11 years. Sorry, ladies, I'm taken. No, but no, but yeah, yeah, we've been dating for like 11 years, and it's been great, man. It's been really cool. You
Awesome.
know, going on vacations and just we get along. We watch football together. I mean, it's she's a girl that likes football. That's hard to find.
That's a winner right there.
Yeah, and she's a diehard. It's not even like, oh, I think that guy's cute, so I'm gonna watch it. It's like, no, she knows the game, and it's funny because when I play, and with my bands and stuff and bars, and she'll be talking and she'll be like, that guy doesn't know anything about football, and she starts like,
He's running his mouth.
so funny. She'll be like, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. He doesn't even watch football. And it's just so funny. But yeah.
Okay, so really moving right on to question 17. Do you and your girlfriend have any pets? And if so, what kind of animals are they? How many are there? And what are their names?
We have a dog. We have one pet, one dog. His name's Lambo. And she named him. She's a Green Bay Packers fan, Lambeau Field,
Makes sense.
Lambeau. So, um I and I so yeah, and he's great. And as far as what kind of dog he is, I have no idea. He looks like he's part like wolf, part sheephound. He is extremely strong for his size. He's probably 70 pounds, but he pulls like he's like a 150-pound dog. He's got like this giant chest. It's like a pigeon chest. Just like he looks like one of those like I think I saw him like doing like pull-ups, dude, in the backyard the other
He's out there with a
day.
wife beater and the Italian horn. He's up
He's got
behind
a
it.
bench just dude, he is so strong. Like it's like, oh my god. It's like that one video where is it the old lady with the big dog?
But it's just like,
Yeah, where she just like that's what it's like walking up, dude. You get air. But
okay,
no, he's
so
great though.
one dog named Lambo. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh
he's our baby.
let's move right along because we're starting to run out of time here a little bit. On to question 18. We're all people. There are people that we love, and there are people that we can't stand. If you had to pick one famous living person to just punch in the face to get one free shot, who's that person?
Uh, I would have to say, and I would have to say Will Smith.
Okay.
I would say payback for Chris Rock, man. I said, it's like an eye for an eye. It's
An eye for an eye would be Chris Rock doing it. This is a hate crime now. You're just hitting a
it's
black man. That's what this
well,
is now.
well,
Gotta frame this in your head a little bit, buddy.
well. I figured, it's justice, you know, Uh, and somebody has to do it.
I mean, we're laughing like Burt Kreischer over here.
It's justice. Well, I mean, because I'm not extremely violent, and I don't know any celebrities or anything like to like. Nobody ever gave me a reason to like want to do that, but just based off of seeing that, it's like, dude, he kind of has it coming. You know,
Okay. So
he's
you're
owed one.
cracking him. Okay, yeah. Hey,
So,
I can't really comment on that because we might get canceled. So we're gonna move right on to question number 19. As musicians, this is actually a much more nice question. As musicians, every day we wake up grateful for the skills that we have and the ability to bring our craft into the world. What is the thing musically that you personally are most grateful for?
I would say I'm most grateful for the fact that I can pick up songs very quickly. So like if being in cover bands and stuff, just stuff like that. Like if I have a list of songs that I have to bang out, and it's like a last minute list, like maybe like 30 songs or whatever, and it's like, oh well, the show's in 2 days, and it's like, okay, a part of me is like, oh my god, but then it's like, I love that. I just love that
Hmm.
pressure. I love like, okay, I'm under the gun. I perform the best when I'm under pressure and I'm under the gun, and I think that's probably my favorite. That's what I think is my favorite thing that I'm most grateful for. Is just the fact that I'm very quick to learn songs and structures, and even if I've never played the song before, I get an idea and be like, okay, you know.
Hmm.
So it makes it makes it a lot easier and you save a lot of time. So
I feel like you've always been like that too. As long as I've known you, at least since you've been playing in like bar bands, cover bands, tribute bands, whatever. Um, it's like you'll have a list of 60 some songs you have to learn in a week, and you'll sit
yeah,
down, you'll learn them all, you'll be totally fine with them. Like you can play them back, forward, and sideways. And then I get a call like a day and a half before the show. Dude, I'm freaking out. I don't know this stuff. I have no idea what's going on. How am I going to do this? I'm freaking out, man. And then I just have to go like, I have to talk you off the cliff. It's like, dude, you learned all of this. You could play this stuff in your sleep. And
yeah,
also, if all else fails, just pull up tabs. Who gives a shit? So,
yeah,
like, I mean, really, you're getting paid one way or the other, man. You're not, it's not an original band where you got to run around like Billy Joe Armstrong on stage, you're just, you're
yeah.
playing the music for the people.
And I mean, at the same time, being a bass player, you do have a little bit more wiggle room than other
Mhm.
instruments. Like you miss a beat on drums, it's like, whoa, that's very noticeable. Vocals, same thing. Guitar, lead guitar, but bass, you can like hit the wrong note for like, and be like, the most someone will be like, oh, and then before you know it, you already fixed it. So it doesn't even matter, as long as your mistakes are like minimal and they're quick in and out. If you do make mistakes, which I mean everybody does, but
Mhm.
that's really it. You get away with a lot when you play bass, so it's great.
Cool. All right. Well, I hope that you enjoyed your time on Deathtones Unmasked, everybody. This is Mikey Murder. For your last question, uh, do you have any parting words for our viewers, our listeners? Anything you want to get off your chest? Anything you want to say? This is your time.
um I mean, as a whole, I mean, check us out, guys. The Deathtones. I mean, we got a lot of great stuff on Spotify. We're constantly putting out new content. We got the TikTok up and running, our YouTube, and I mean, we're like one of those bands that even if it's not your style of music, there's definitely a song in there for everybody. It's like people like that go, oh, I hate the Beatles, and it's like, yeah, but they at least have one or two songs that you're like, all right, I do like that song though.
Mm-hmm. And then you start
So
naming
even
more and more songs. And
yeah,
then you realize that you like the Beatles.
it's like you get those people that are like, oh, I hate them. It's like, yeah, but so we're one of I feel like not comparing us to the Beatles, but just saying like everybody. There's definitely something out there for everybody with what we're doing. Even if it's not your
Mm-hmm.
style. So I definitely check us out, and if you play music, keep playing and keep rocking, guys. And that's pretty much all I got to say.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Mikey. You have a great night. Thank you all for
You too, man.
listening, for watching. We really appreciate it. Make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends, everything. Every little bit helps the analytics, as terrible as that is. Make sure to check out our new EP, Universal Monsters. It's going to be dropping globally on February 2nd, which is only a couple of weeks away. For the exclusive CD run is going to be going through We Are Horror Records. You can go on their Bandcamp page and order that. And until next time, this has been the Deathtones channel with Deathtones Unmasked. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a great night.